Hey, what's up, everybody? BDF44 coming at you with another video. All right, the Lakers got a victory tonight, and it felt pretty good. I'm not gonna lie. We've been on a very long losing streak where we've lost some pretty bad games and some in a pretty horrible fashion. And the Lakers came out tonight with a whole lot of urgency against a team in Houston that has a lot of young talent. Um, and to be completely honest with you, plays no defense. They didn't play any defense at all. It was great. I loved it. It made for an easy game to watch. It made for an exciting game. And it made for players having individual performance tonight that were terrific on both sides. So, I want to give credit to uh, obviously LeBron James and Russell Westbrook, who came out of there with triple doubles tonight. Um, Malik Monk was awesome. I think he had like 25 or something like that, but he was phenomenal. Every one of his points were felt. Carmelo Anthony was spectacular tonight. Probably had one of his best games as a Laker. Um, just really wanted to show that team that cut him, the Houston Rockets, that they made a mistake and that he had a lot left. And I was very pleased with the effort that he put up, not only on the offensive side but defensively and guarding centers. They had him down there with Sengun, and he had some success down there defensively down the stretch. So a lot of credit goes to Carmelo tonight. Um, yeah, man. So that's where we started. Um, I saw some things down there that I liked, and I saw some things down there that I didn't. But the things that I definitely liked was just, um, again, LeBron James and Russell Westbrook continuing to find synergy with LeBron James being off the ball. They were able to run a two-man game down the stretch repeatedly that the Rockets couldn't do anything with. LeBron slashing at the basket, which we figured out a couple games ago does work for us. Um, and as long as they continue to run that play, someone's going to have to find a way to stop it. LeBron James cutting at the basket at full speed is nearly impossible, even at 37 years of age. And they ran it against the Rockets tonight over and over and over again throughout the last 3 minutes of the game. And just killed them with it, basically. Destroyed them with that. Um, One thing that I want to see the Lakers do is give Malik Monk more shots. We got to start him, and we need to start featuring him, especially while AD's out. He is arguably our third most fluent scorer right now, and with what we saw out there tonight, he just had it going. He was explosive, he was efficient, he was making plays on the defensive end and offensive end. So um, he hasn't disappointed at all. I couldn't be more happy with Malik Monk, and I continue to say that just about every episode, every video rather. He doesn't disappoint, and he's consistent. And when he's out there, we're a better team. So that's really what it's been. Of all the things that have gone wrong with the Lakers, Malik Monk has not been one of them. So yeah, that was great. I want to give, of course, credit to Stanley Johnson, who's a new Laker who stepped in and has immediately made his presence felt. Defensively, particularly rebounding the ball as well. I don't think we win this game without him. I'm just going to be honest with you. There were things he was doing out there in key moments of the game that isn't going to get the credit that it deserves. But quite honestly, he made life hard on the Rockets, getting steals, rebounding again, being aggressive, driving to the basket. There were times, it was a particular play I thought was really telling of how much he's brought to this team in these last two games. It took LeBron James off the floor, and I believe they had taken somebody else who had done very well off the floor. I think it might have been Malik Monk, somebody else who was really hot. We pulled him off the floor at the same time, and I think it was Melo that we pulled off. It was Melo, and I think it was Stu who said the Lakers are going to have to find a way to find some offense during this process. And immediately, the very next play, Stanley Johnson took the ball and just drove at the basket and got fouled. That's what I'm talking about. That's exactly the type of stuff I want to see. When there's no offensive talent on the floor, per se, obviously, I say that with respect, but when there's no one on the floor who can really get a bucket for themselves, you don't have a whole lot of cohesiveness, just be aggressive, drive at the basket. That's also what Russell Westbrook brings to this team, which is why, we continue to respect that he has had ups and downs. It hasn't just been downs because he does attack the basket relentlessly. And that's the type of stuff that I thought the Lakers really did tonight, that I think they can find success in going forward while AD is down. Just continue to attack the basket. Continue to relentlessly attack, because that is something that we are good at. If nothing else, we can drive at the rim. And so that's something we need to zero in on and continue to exploit. We shot well from the three tonight for our standards. We were upwards of 40+% tonight. And I thought that was really the difference. These last couple games, particularly while we've been on this losing streak, we have shot horribly, just horribly. So with us shooting the way that we did tonight, again, going up against a team that doesn't really play defense at all. They really don't. They have good defensive players, but they play terrible team defense. And I think that that's just something that Coach Silas is just going to have to take time and work with them on. And they're a young team, so that's just kind of how it goes. But one thing I definitely saw tonight that I want to give them credit for was just how they continued to play hard. They shot efficiently. You saw a great game out of Kevin Porter tonight, who played tough. He got pushed around a lot, kept his cool. I thought they were bodying him up. I thought the young fellow was very impressive tonight. There were times out there where I thought most players his age would have been ready to fight. Honestly, certain times he was knocked to the ground, just playing hard but keeping his cool, and that's exactly what you want to see from a young star. A lot has been said on this channel about Jalen Green. He didn't have the game that I thought he would, but he did score. He scored 24 points, and I was expecting to see him do that, so I was very encouraged that he's continuing to get healthier, and like I said, that backcourt is going to be deadly for years to come with him and Porter. I'm telling you, they're going to be ridiculously great. With Christian Wood, who also played very well tonight, even though he had the funniest free throw I ever seen, one of the funniest alligator-armed free throws you will ever see. But, that's a fantastic player right there who did not disappoint either. You definitely appreciate that they had 7 players in double figures themselves. Our team, I think, had probably about 6 or something of that nature. So 3 players with 20 or more, or 4 players with 20 or more. So it was a lot of offense tonight. A lot of offense tonight. You enjoyed watching that game. If nothing else, I can honestly say that was probably the most fun game I maybe watched the Lakers play all season. It was just easy going, even though you're screaming at the TV because you want to see guys play defense. At the end of the day, what you saw was teams, just kind of exploiting their offensive sides and really running good stuff. I thought the Rockets were running a lot of good stuff, and so were we. So that's really good. The encouraging thing for me is seeing better offense, and that's exactly what I like to see tonight. So yeah, hopefully it carries over. We have a game directly tomorrow night. LeBron James played a lot of minutes, so did Russell Westbrook. So going into Memphis tomorrow, we don't expect the Lakers will get a victory, but we love the momentum that we're in. Memphis is a very, very, very good team right now, and I think they're borderline contender, to be completely honest with you. A guy by the name of Desmond Bane is on fire. He's stepping into his own, and I expect he's going to continue to be hot tomorrow. Ja Morant is working his way back into shape. He probably is in shape just in time to see us tomorrow. So, yeah, that's going to be a rough one, but we definitely appreciate getting a win tonight. The problem is that we got away with playing small ball tonight pretty much 100% of the time. And we just got away with it. LeBron James and Carmelo Anthony just played fantastic in the paint defensively, and we're doing all the things they needed to do to stay focused and stay sharp. And because shots were falling, guys stayed engaged. I don't know you can have that kind of success tomorrow at all. In fact, I'd worry dramatically about not playing DJ and Dwight tomorrow. And I know that they're not the most effective players right now. I get that. Spacing issues, all different types of things go down when you don't when you don't respect the fact that they have deficiencies. But at the end of the day, Jaren Jackson Jr., Steven Adams. That's all that needs to be said. Now, I thought Sengun and Wood would do the same to us tonight, but I think we did a fantastic job against them. But we're gonna have to do a much better job against much stronger centers. So I don't like how this is set up for us tomorrow. With having those great players that we have playing pretty much all the game, because obviously the game was close tonight. So they ain't getting no rest, and then they have to get on a plane, fly to Memphis, and then play a very tough Memphis team. So yeah, keep our eyes open for that one. But anyway, all in all, man, great win. Great win for the Lakers to start off this 2-game road trip. We got a 5-game homestand after this, which is going to be really exciting, I think, for us to just kind of have a chance to sit at Crypto.com Arena for a while and kind of get some practice time in LA, which is what I'm hopeful the team will try to do. Hopefully we'll get Austin Reeves and some of our guys back off health and safety protocol very soon. And that'll make our team that much better, you know. But I got to say, the addition of Stanley Johnson, it's all the difference, man. Because what it does is it allows us to get away from some of the players who've been struggling, you know. And it also helps Avery Bradley with his overall team defense. It's tough for Avery Bradley to succeed when he's the only talented defender down there. You know what I mean? And when he's not hitting shots, you know, he needs players who can compliment him on what it is that he does. And when he has that down there, you get stops. And I thought he was much more efficient tonight, and I thought a lot of it had to do with Stanley Johnson and just the overall defensive energy that is infectious. You know what I mean? That he kind of, in my opinion, kind of, you know, made so that it rubbed off on others. You saw Bron more engaged defensively. You saw Westbrook getting engaged defensively. You saw Melo, like I said, getting stops down the stretch. It just seems like defense is something that they're trying to be intent on, and now we're more capable because we've picked up this wing defender. So I can't stress it enough, man. I cannot stress it enough. I'm not saying that he's killing it. You know, he's missed some shots. I'm not saying that he's, you know, the lockdown like Ben Simmons or something like that. I'm not saying that. But what I'm saying is that the dynamic that he brings to this team it's almost like what passing does for an offense. You know what I mean? It brings it together. It makes it so that guys focus in defensively. You know, you have a defensive quarterback is essentially what he seems like he can be for us. You know, so I don't know. Maybe I'm overdoing it. Maybe I'm overthinking it. Obviously, we need this dynamic, and I'm hopeful that we can get it in a talented player via trade. But for now, while we have this roster, Stanley Johnson is like what we needed basically. But it ain't the only thing we need. We need to get us a center because obviously that's going to be important, as I've been saying a million times. Somebody that we trust, somebody we want to play 20 plus minutes. That's what we need to acquire. And that's it. I mean, our coaches can only do so much. You know, you're asking them to play players that just have not been effective in order for us to have that center position locked down. And it's only so much blame I can blame them. You know, it's on Rob at the end of the day to get the roster intact. So I like some of the acquisitions. I like what he's trying to do. You can see the vision coming along. You can see them trying to patch holes up with the roster. I like the Collison pickup as well. He's extremely fast. I remember him being fast. But for some reason when we picked him up, I didn't necessarily work that dynamic into the equation. But he's going to start to be more of a player for us. We're going to see him more. I think they're going to call his number more than they have been in the past because what he brings to the table is more speed, and that's exactly what we need against young teams. So his acquisition is important, and I like how we're bringing him along slowly, and I hope that he sticks around a little bit because I know he's a talented player. We need more talent on this team. So yeah, and that's what I'm seeing. That's what I'm seeing. So I'm trying to figure out if there's some other players on the Lakers that I want to mention in this situation. You know, THT did not have a good game tonight, but that was okay because we kind of got away from him a little bit, you know, and I think that was important while he's struggling. Nobody thinks that he's not a good player, but with him struggling and us having the circumstances we have, it was just important we kind of push him back down. Now, another thing that worked in the Lakers' favor tonight was the starting lineup being as it was. You know, Wayne Ellington entered health and safety protocol, unfortunately. So we changed our starting lineup by default. And I think that was a change that we actually needed. I've been saying that, you know, I like our guy Wayne, but I'm just not thinking he's a starter at all in this league. And, you know, if I want a couple of jump shots, I know I can count on him. But other than that, I really don't want him playing big minutes on this team because he is a defensive, he's a liability to defensively. So at some point in time, the Lakers are going to have to, shuffle the deck, and I think that time was today. I think we might have found our starter in Stanley Johnson, and I hope we stay there because I think that's what's best for us. So that's what I'm saying there for now. And yeah, you just got to give credit to both teams for just giving us a good show to watch. Basketball hasn't been all that fun in the NBA, in my opinion. Although I haven't been watching all of the league. From what I've been seeing, it's a lot of fillers, a lot of teams kind of finding their way. This was a game they could definitely be proud of tonight, so I appreciated it. Houston put on a good show, good crowd, everything was good out there. And yeah, it was just good to finally get a victory. The Lakers broke the losing streak, and guys did it with a whole lot of energy and a lot of intent. So that's what I like, man. We got 12 turnovers. I say 14 is the maximum. We kept it under 14 and we stayed in the game, so that was important. Russell Westbrook had a couple of those funny turnovers, another missed dunk. You're going to hear about his mistakes. But he had a triple-double. He was helpful, ultimately, in helping us get the victory. And we were able to seal a victory with him on the floor down the stretch. A lot has been said about benching him down the stretch, and my eyes tell me that makes sense, but my memory tells me that absolutely does not. He's just going to have to work out his problems on this team, shake off the jitters, because I think that's a lot of what's going on down there is the pressure of being on this team and having everything magnified. I think it's getting to him. Putting on that Laker uniform, he ain't used to it. It's uncomfortable. But I think over time, throughout the season, as it continues to progress, just like he does in every situation, including Washington, if he's here, which I think he will be, I think we're going to see a better Russell Westbrook as we go forward, especially as those players continue to learn to play with one another. LeBron James and Russell Westbrook are learning to play with one another. And LeBron James plays so very well off the ball with Russell. Another thing that I'd love to see is Carmelo Anthony in terms of when LeBron James passes him the ball particularly. I don't know what happens. It's like the ball turns gold when LeBron touches it and then Melo touches it. Melo rarely misses when LeBron James passes him the rock. So those are little things that I'm picking up and I'm understanding, and I'm saying, guys are learning to play with one another. All we need to do is get them the role players, some of which need to be coming back soon. A lot of those guys are still on this team. We need to get ourselves some role players that can play defense, more Stanley Johnson types, get us a guy like Miles Turner or something like that. And I promise you, this team will be better than they've been. A lot of our issues have just been because we continue to play small ball over and over and over again. And, it's okay to do that because we've seen success with it, but you just want to be able to audible out of it. That's my whole point. I don't care that we don't pick up some superstar center necessarily, but just give me somebody competent enough to where if we need to stop playing small ball and need to get some boards, that we can do that. Because right now we don't have that, and that's a problem. So, yeah, that's what I'm saying, man. All in all, great win, Lakers. Absolutely great win. You just have to give credit. Now, who I want to give the game ball to? So the superstars were on tonight. LeBron James was fantastic. So I guess for me, I'd have to give it to Bron just off rip. But personally, who I want to give it to is Malik Monk because of how well he played and how consistent his offense was in the game, how much of that offense we needed from him from moment to moment. Another guy I want to give credit to is Avery Bradley. He really had a fantastic game tonight again. As I mentioned him earlier, he just helped us. He was able to get about 14 points, and his defense was sharper. And like I said, he fed off of Stanley, fed off of those other guys playing D. And even though it wasn't a defensive game, you saw defensive sequences. That's what I'm referring to. There was no defense being played from a successful standpoint. I guess what I'm saying is the effort was good. You saw good defensive sequences. But overall, the defense was poor. But you saw why that was. And it wasn't because of effort. And it wasn't necessarily because of bad reads. It was because of lack of size. So you see how I'm assessing this? There's nothing wrong necessarily with the effort I saw. They just didn't have that last line of defense that I'm complaining about over and over again to Rob in this camera. Get us a center. So yeah, that properly states my opinion about tonight's defense because we didn't get too many stops. But we got the ones we needed, and I think that's ultimately a good reason why we won. So that's what I got, man. My name is BDF44. Lakers got the victory. I'm happy about that. Tomorrow we got Memphis. See you guys then.